What's up? Got a real exciting video for everybody. Got a really cool project going on. I'm not talking about this Corvette neither. You hear Sean over here snapping 1,000 pictures. We got this really neat first gen 67 Camaro. Gavin, his channel ITSJUSTA6, dropped off. We're gonna put a really neat motor in it. It's gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings, especially how original this car is.
This is going to break the internet.
Break the internet.
Break the internet.
Break.
I promise.
It's gonna be broken. Real clean car. Just got done getting it painted. All the body work done. Me and Sean we put all the body saran wrap type stuff on it just to keep it protected after it got waxed, and we wiped it down a little bit. And here's the motor. And no, it's not an LS with Coyote valve cover sitting on it. It's an actual Coyote.
Powered by Ford.
Powered by Ford.
I think it's a built motor too, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's built for like 1,200 horse.
Can Coyotes even handle that?
Hey, I'm telling you right now, me and Taylor both aren't Ford guys, but this is a cool swap. This is something that I've never seen before. Anywhere. I don't think anybody's done this yet. So yeah, as far as we know, there's only like a couple of Coyote swap cars in existence, really. That's, Chevrolet swapped or anything like that. So, and this is, what transmission is this, Is it the TR66? MT82.
MT82 stick shift. So not only is it gonna have a Coyote, it's gonna have a stick shift. So it's gonna be pretty neat. And this thing is thick, thicker than a Snicker. That thing's gonna be hard to fit in there. But we told them we can do it, so we're gonna get the 10-pound sledge out and
start beating on this first Camaro.
Yeah, make it happen. So this is the real first day of putting Gavin's Coyote motor into his 67 Camaro. And what we're gonna have to do is take the original frame mounts off, take the motor mounts off the engine, and bolt. I'm gonna bolt a 1/4-inch steel plate to the frame. I'm gonna bolt this 1/4-inch steel plate to the engine. I have some things for the transmission I'm gonna kind of cut up and modify, but I'm gonna put the car on the lift and set the transmission and engine in it and kind of hold it on blocks raised up off the frame. And wherever it's centered and looks good, I'll build from the frame to the engine with like a rubber mount in there. Got the radiator support out of it. That way I'm not trying to raise the motor real high and trying to dip it back down in there. So 2 bolts here, 2 bolts there. Take the headlight bucket out, body mount. The fender is held up by the fender wells. And so now we'll just be able to slip the motor straight in there with no problems. All right, got her sitting in there. I had to drop the steering rack a little bit because it's hitting the oil pan right down here. But we have a little bit of room back there for the transmission. Luckily, this car is a drive-by-wire, so we're gonna be taking the throttle pedal off, the throttle lever off, excuse me. And so basically, what I normally do on stuff like this, to get my clearance, just that old catalog down there. This is a Barrett Jackson catalog. And so, what I'm gonna have to do here now, I thought I was gonna be able to come off of here, but this plate is not gonna tag it because it's not long enough. So what I'm gonna have to do is probably make something off of this, bolt a new plate in here, bolt a new plate in here, go over farther back to the back. The same thing with this side. It's hard to see over here, but the motor mounts, the frame mounts on the factory frame is too far forward for the plates that we built. There's nowhere on the front of the engine right there to really grab a mount. So we're just gonna have to take these off and build some that are farther set back. That way we can come down off of here with some tabs or a rubber motor mount or something and grab onto it. So we got the motor sitting in there like you saw in the time lapse. But the only problem is I'm gonna have to cut the floor out right here, which ain't no major loss because somebody's already done some patchwork in here before. And we're gonna cut the tunnel out right here to raise it up because the transmission's so tall, it's hanging down about this far. And Adam just pulling in here in his Malibu. But anyway, we're gonna cut the tunnel out of it and get the transmission up in there a little bit better. The shifter's gonna have to be kind of back in here, and we'll be able to make the cross member. So we got it up in there, and now we're gonna take some plates. This is where the factory cross member bolted up right here. I'm gonna take a plate and bolt it to that, and I'm gonna take another plate, weld it, and let it come down here. I'm gonna let a tube come and tie into it right here. That's gonna come over, grab the transmission mount, and come over to this other side. All right, we got the transmission mount made up.
Penis.
Yeah, penis. So basically, it's a 1/4 inch flat bar. It's a 2-inch flat bar with another 2-inch flat bar. And it's bolted into the factory mount there. Same thing over here. And this is a transmission cross member off of another project that we ended up not using. And I cut it to length in between there and bolted it up. Just used a Turbo 400 cross member and built this out of some more 2x1/4 inch flat bar. These little gussets.
That all you needed?
Yeah, you got it welded up?
Yeah, it's
yeah,
all good.
I appreciate it. Hey, you did a good job on the 4-link on that car too.
Yeah, man, look, it comes naturally. It's healthy, you know. I'm the world's best fabricator.
Yeah, I'm glad you're world's best at something finally.
Yeah.
So anyway, it hangs kind of low, but we already had to cut 6 inches out of the cross member, and to keep the camera's right on the yoke of the rear end. To kind of see the drive shaft line there. And you can see the transmission's up in there a good bit. And the shifter hangs off the back of this thing like right here. We cut probably 4 inches too much, but I really cut it once and twice. So that shifter's gonna be about right here. Looks pretty good in there. We're gonna work on the motor mounts next. So now that we've got the transmission cross member built, we're gonna do some solid motor mounts in the front, which is gonna be fine because my car has about 3 or 4 times what this car is gonna have. But mine's a Turbo LS, and this is a Coyote, so we know how that is. But anyway, check this one out right here. Got a up all-nighter with Daddy in the shop. But anyway, I'm gonna show y'all what I'm doing on this motor mount real quick. So I've taken the factory motor mount. Don't mind the oil filter here. We're gonna get one of the relocation kits. And basically, I've taken the bolts loose here and there and slid it back 1 bolt hole. So the mount hangs off the back, basically. This is what I've got here. I did a 1/4 inch by 4 inch flat bar and made an adapter to move the motor mount back 1 set of bolts and bolt into the factory frame. And so what I'm gonna do is, basically right here, I'm gonna weld the plate from here and come down and bolt it through here and on the other side. So it's gonna be welded to the block plate like this. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side and it's gonna turn out pretty good. All right, so we got the transmission cross member built and welded out, painted. Just got that done. We'll go ahead and stick it in the car and pull the motor mounts out, weld them up, and get those painted before we start on the headers. Quick little update. I've got the passenger side header put together and tacked up. Fixing to pull it apart and weld all these joints up, and then stack it back together and weld it all out.
I thought it was wrong, so I thought about it. When I was a young man, I couldn't give up the lip. 'Cause I came to her, she came to me. Caught up in a hit and run catastrophe. She said, see ya!
Alright, so anybody new to my channel that's coming over from Gavin and hasn't seen a header build video yet, I pump argon in here and I screen it out this side. It's just kind of like a little plug setup from Tycon. Tycon makes these, TIG Aesthetics brand. And basically what it does is it doesn't let it sugar on the inside. Let me find a flashlight real quick. But if you weld without pumping argon inside the pipe, it'll crystallize and this stuff will grow in there, and it makes the weld brittle. But I'll get a light shine in there real quick and you can see how nice and clean the weld is on the inside. So I've got this light stuck in there. Let's see if I can get it to focus. So you can see inside there's a weld on the inside. And that's just 100% penetration. And without pumping argon to the inside, it would be all sugared up and look real nasty and just be a bad quality weld. Which a lot of people don't back purge, and that's fine. Because I've welded in the past on my personal car and not back purged, and that turbo kit's 4 years strong. But trying to sell a professional product, that's what you want to do. So at this point, we have all the primaries welded out. Got them tacked to the head flange. Normally I weld the head flange solid, but this time I'm gonna go ahead and weld the collector on. I've done welded in between all the primaries. Inside I welded the star in there. And so it's all four are sealed up. So I'm gonna weld this collector on. This isn't gonna be the right angle. I'm gonna knock it back loose, but while I'm back purging, I'm gonna go ahead and weld this V-band flange. So I'm gonna weld this joint, and weld that collector around. Like I said, we got this V-band welded up, got the collector welded, got all the primaries welded. Once it cools off and stays true, I'm gonna go in and I'll wrap the primaries on the inside with a TIG torch. And then, like I said, this isn't pointing in the exact right direction. I was gonna have it pointing straight back, but the way the transmission and crossmember ended up having to be made, I'm gonna kick it towards the drive shaft a little bit and go up and then loop down. You'll see just a little bit on that. So this is the last bit of the driver side header. Just got it finished up. So it's all done, got it back purged, welded out, looking in the right direction. We're about to go put it on with the gasket just as soon as it cools down. And everything that we were hired to do, the motor mounts, transmission crossmember, and both headers is finished. But Gavin has sent us a whole mountain of parts over there that we have to install. So we're gonna do that next. Done with the header, I'm gonna stick it on and start on the next deal. So we got both headers on, bolted up with gaskets. This side we had the clearance for the starter. This one we had the clearance for the steering box. So they look a little different as far as how they're built. It turned out pretty good. You can see up inside there, all back perched and nice. Let's see if I can get in this one. You can see the star in there. Won't focus, but anyway. So next we're gonna come through here and here with exhaust. Run it about here. Got some offset mufflers. We're gonna tie them there and go over the axle with this material.